CGRundertows. This is Derek from Classic Game Room, and here at CGR, we're really big fans of mobile gaming. I mean, I'm a huge fan of iOS gaming in particular. And the touchscreen really does a lot for games that a traditional controller just can't do, but the problem is, traditional controller does a lot for games that a touchscreen just can't do. I mean, how many times have we said this in our iOS reviews? Some games just need a D-pad, and I think we've said it so much that people are starting to take notice, and a company called Fruitel has sent us something that they hope and we hope will address and perhaps remedy this situation. So let's give this thing a try. This is called the answer to Derek's prayers. Actually, it's called Gametel. Let's give it a spin. So the Gametel is actually a really sweet little device. This thing supports the iPhone, provided you're using iOS 4.0 or later, but it also supports the iPad as long as you're using iOS 3.2 or later on your iPad, and it also supports Android phones and Android tablets, so no matter which team you play for, you can put this sucker in your lineup. And actually getting started with this thing really couldn't be easier. I mean, you hold down the start button for a few seconds, then you get your flashing green light, which indicates you're good to go. Then you get your iPhone, slide to unlock, go into your settings, and this thing uses Bluetooth, so go to your general settings, Bluetooth, and should be waiting for you. There it is, connected. We're ready to go. You know, when you're playing with this thing, it's kind of like it has the sensation of like you're playing the DS almost. Not because obviously there's only one screen. I mean, I'm not an idiot, but it's similar because you have traditional controls down here, but you also have the touchscreen, which you can use for different functions in the game. So it's the best of both worlds. And my theory on not only touch, but certainly motion, is that these are great supplements to traditional controls, but especially in the case of motion, it's not a replacement. There have been some great touch-based games that are entirely touch, but what's even better is when you can bring them both together, and that's what a device like the Gametel does. I mean, look at this. I got the benefits of touch, but I can actually platform like a human being, not some zoo animal who's forced to touch screens and buttons that aren't even real. These are real buttons, and I get to touch them. So when it comes to performance, I mean, the Gametel is top notch. It feels absolutely superb to have a D-pad for a lot of these iPhone games, these iPhone platformers, and games that really need a D-pad. It works absolutely brilliantly. Well, what's the problem with the Gametel, right? There's always a catch. Well, in this case, the catch is that the Gametel isn't standard. Attachments like this aren't standardized for every game in the App Store. So for what are there, like a billion games in the App Store, many of which you're like, oh man, I want to use the Gametel for that. Well, here's the problem. The Gametel only supports a set amount of games, these games that I'm scrolling through right now. But if you're an avid iOS gamer, chances are you play something that this thing supports. There are actually a few really popular, really good games in its admittedly small library. So you have Silverfish, No Gravity, Super Crossfire HD. There's definitely some winners that support this, and it plays great. Again, problem, not all the games that you have will support this. But it can only go up from here, right? As good as it is, I hope more people support this, and attachments like it. It's the Gametel, and I mean, listen. This thing, it's joy in plastic form. Can't recommend it enough. This thing is just a dream come true. Death to pretend buttons!